What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the Heat Report. Welcome back to a brand new video where we talk all things Miami Heat basketball. Today's video we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I know last video we did something about Damian Lillard potentially being traded to the Heat. A lot of you guys really loved it, which is pretty expected because Damian Lillard is a very good player. He's a high profile player, so I would expect that a lot of y'all loved that video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one too. We're going to be taking a look at, in my opinion, the 5 most realistic trade targets that the Miami Heat could possibly explore to trade for. So I wanted to do this because, you know, the series of the players, recapping the player seasons, I stopped it at Ariza, Iguodala, and Dedmon. I did not do the youth or the younger players because either A, they did not play much, or B, it was just very tough to judge their seasons. But yeah, man, hopefully you guys really enjoy this video. Before we even get into it though, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below what your thoughts are about this video. We are less than 15 subscribers away from 600, so make sure you guys keep smashing that subscribe button if you guys are new to the channel, and if you guys are OGs, if you guys have been here. So leave a like and comment down below what your thoughts are about this video and your thoughts are about your trade targets that you would explore for the Heat. So let's get right into it, man. It's a pretty long intro, but let me get you the content right now. So the Miami Heat are obviously going to be exploring a lot to trade for a lot of players or sign, you know, a lot of players. Anything that will make their team different. You know, Pat Riley in his press conference at the end of the season really guaranteed spots for 2 players, maybe 3 if Tyler counts. Jimmy and Bam are their nucleus. That's literally what he said. He said he loves the nucleus of Jimmy and Bam. So it's Jimmy and Bam, man. Every other player is up for debate. Until I think he said Tyler's a core piece as well, but I don't know. I think Tyler could be traded for a superstar if he's available. So trades are gonna happen, signings are gonna happen, and let's get right into it though. The first trade, this is in no order by the way. This is just 5 trades, so do not take this as you know, most likely to least likely. This is not that. This is just 5 trades, so do not look into the numbering order. The first trade is either Damian Lillard or CJ McCollum from the Portland Trailblazers. Now I combined these two into one scenario because I do think that one of them is going to have to go. One of them or both of them will have to get traded because the Portland Trailblazers are going in a different direction from Terry Stotts. Terry Stotts is a coach that got them up to becoming a playoff team, but didn't really have what it took to become a championship team. Which is why they fired him. They were I think Damian Lillard really wanted Jason Kidd, but Jason Kidd had declined the offer respectfully to join the Portland Trailblazers. So that probably frustrated Damian Lillard a little bit more, I'm guessing, and he probably wants a change of scenery. And if it's not him, the Portland Trailblazers, if they want to really keep Dame, they're going to have to move on from CJ because one of them is going to have to go. So which is why I have both of these as one scenario, and I think the Miami Heat have the assets to pull off a trade for Dame or CJ. For Dame, it's going to be tougher for sure because he's the better player, but I do think that CJ is a very good candidate for us to trade for. I think he's probably the most realistic one on that team, a more realistic one on that team to trade for, because Damian Lillard's value is super high right now. They will definitely want Bam for Dame. I would not do that. I mean, straight up I would, but like, y'all know what I said last video. Like, Jimmy and Dame isn't making us a championship team, so I would want to keep Bam in that scenario. But a lot of people in the comment section said that they wouldn't mind trading Bam, which, you know, I disagree with. But you know, I can see why they wouldn't. Damian Lillard is definitely the better player right now. It's just that you want a big 3, and you want to keep as many assets as you can, because you're not winning anything with Jimmy and Dame, especially in the era where you have the Nets back next year. You have, you know, you still have the Bucks. You have, you know, the Lakers will be back next year. The Clippers, you know, you have these teams, man. You have these teams they're gonna have to go through with Jimmy, Dame, and a bunch of role players. So I would want to have Bam in that scenario. For CJ, it would be a little bit more interesting. You know, I would not mind a sign and trade revolving around, you know, Goran or Kendrick if we re-sign them back, or anyone like that. Would I give up Tyler for CJ? Probably not. I think CJ's a good player, but I don't think he's, you know, he's definitely a very good player, man. He's definitely a very good player, but he's definitely a step down from a lot of these guys. Like, you know, I don't think he is a star player in this league. I think he has all-star caliber potential, but I don't think he's consistent enough to become a star. Because he's never. I don't think he's ever made the all-star team. And number two, it's not even because of that. He's just there's times when he goes missing sometimes. So, CJ, would I trade Tyler for him? Probably not, but I would. If we did trade Tyler, I would not be, mad because, I want to keep Tyler so bad. It's just the fact that I think we can give up a little bit less to get him, but maybe we got to be less stingy with our assets this year. So that's the first trade. The second trade is to trade for a guy like Bradley Beal. Now, Bradley Beal is a guy that has been rumored with the Heat for a long time, but forever it seems like. We've always been rumored and linked to this player, and every time, either it comes out that he is happy with his situation, he's happy where he's at in Washington, he loves his role, he's happy where he's at. But the thing that I think is going to change now is I keep bringing it up, that end of the season post-match interview or post-game interview. I'm thinking about soccer right now. Post-game interview where he said, or the question was asked, where does he see his future and the future with this team and his future with this team. He said no comment, and whether you guys want to read into that too much or not, it's up to you, but I take it as he's probably not too thrilled with where this team is at right now. They've been consistently at the middle of the pack / bottom feeders for the past how many ever years. They have not really they haven't made it to any conference finals in forever. The last time they even made the second round was with John Wall and Beal. They just don't really have a promising, future. Russ is getting up there in age. They do have, I love Rui Hachimura. He was my favorite player coming out of college last year. They do have a project in Denny Avdia, but maybe it's time for them to go in the other direction and look for a rebuild. Start thinking about building for the future, because I think, forget Bradley Beal. I think it's in the Wizards' best interest to do that. I think they're in a very similar position to the Trailblazers. Obviously, the Trailblazers are a better team, but I think as far as being in a purgatory, I think that's what the Wizards are in right now, because they have these two star players, but around them, they don't really have the team that's capable enough to, make any noise. So, if I was them, I would look to trade either Beal or Westbrook, and I think Beal is probably the more frustrated one right now, because I think that, he's been on this team for a while, and he's said himself that he wants to win on this team, but he's probably realizing that it's probably not going to happen. So trading for him would not be, I don't think, a stretch. I think that we could make this trade happen. What would I give up for him? It would probably be very similar to what I would give up for Dame. Definitely not Bam or Jimmy. Tyler, I would not really mind giving up Tyler for Beal. Anyone else, it's whatever, anyone else is anyone else. But Bradley Beal is the second guy. Number three is Kristaps Porzingis. Now, before you guys turn off the video, because I know Porzingis caused a lot of controversy with his play in these in the first round of the playoffs against the Dallas Mavericks. He did not play well at all. Before people go crazy at me, hear me out on this one. Now, I'm not saying Porzingis is a superstar. I'm not saying he's this or that. I think Porzingis is a very, very talented NBA player in the wrong system. I think a lot of people were going at Porzingis for his play, which rightly so. He was not getting in the post. He was not being aggressive, which is what a lot of Heat fans gave Bam a lot of slack for. But a lot of fans really have to look at the fact that Porzingis is being played like Mike Muscala. He's being played like a stretch five who's just sitting at the three-point line, spotting up, and they're not even giving him the ball. He's taking 10 shots per game. If you compare that with Tim Hardaway Jr., if you compare that with Dorian Finney-Smith, if you compare that with anyone else besides Luka on the team, he's not even up there. So Porzingis is a guy that I think, when used right in the correct system, I do think that he can be a very, very good player. I think he has all-star potential. I think he's very, very talented. The only thing that scares me about Porzingis is his injuries, and that's the only thing that I would be scared of. But I think it's very smart to trade for a guy like Porzingis when his value is so low, because he's still an upgrade on any of our power forwards right now. You can play him or Bam both at the 4. I think he'd be a great fit next to Bam because he can shoot the ball really well. And yeah, if he's able to, start getting his, health right, and which is a big question mark, if he's able to, use his size to his advantage, and if we're able to use Porzingis like Porzingis was used on the New York Knicks, it would be a steal of a trade because the Mavericks would not really ask for a lot. He's already a guy they're probably trying to shop right now because the trade has not really worked out. He's been injured a lot. He hasn't played well. His value is probably very low, lower than it's probably ever going to be. So a smart team would take a chance on that and say, listen, Goran and Luka, Goran is Slovenian, Luka Slovenian. I'm not saying I do this trade. I'm just giving an example. Goran is Slovenian, sign and trade for Goran and Porzingis. Let's do it. The Mavericks probably wouldn't want much more than that. They probably would want, probably like a pick or like another young player or someone like that. But this deal can be done easily. His value is really low right now. And for a guy who's, I think, all-star caliber, the only thing that concerns me is his injuries. I think that this trade could work out. I do think it could. Number 4 and number 5 are 2 players on the same team, but the reason I've split these up is because they do not play the same position and they're not really rumored or anything like that. Miles Turner is number 4. I've been raving about Miles Turner playing on the Heat for a long time now. I've said it in a lot of videos. Miles Turner, I think, would be a perfect fit with our team. He is a guy who can space the floor really well. He can definitely catch lobs. He's very athletic. He can block shots. He's one of the best rim protectors in the NBA. He can rebound the ball. He's everything that you want in a center. And then having Miles Turner and Bam play together is, I think, a match made in heaven because you have Bam. Bam does not need to worry about the spacing. The spacing does not have to be an issue. You have a stretch 5 who can protect the rim. That's a dream in the NBA, to have a guy who can shoot the floor and protect the rim at the center position. It's so valuable, especially when you have Bam who can do his damage inside, and then you have Miles Turner to punish you from the 3-point line. You have him and Bam defensively would be an absolute nightmare for opponents. I think this would be a great trade for the Heat to do. It would not take much either because I think the Pacers are also stuck in that same purgatory where they're a very mediocre team. I think they need to pick a direction. In the NBA, it's you're the best teams and the smartest teams are I'm not gonna say that, but the teams that are probably the most solid for the future are the teams that are contending for a championship, or the teams that are at the bottom of the conference. Because at the bottom of the conference, you're just gonna get the highest picks. You're gonna get the great players that are coming out of college, coming overseas. And when you're at the top of the conference, when you're fighting for a championship, you're getting the opportunity to fight for a championship. When you're stuck in the middle, you don't have a direction, right? You don't have a clear direction. Sometimes you're out of the playoffs, sometimes you're in the playoffs. It was kind of like how we were post LeBron. Before we got Jimmy Butler, we were kind of hovering around 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seed. We were in that range. We were never above, we were never below. Apart from that one year where we were the 3 seed in 2016 when Chris Bosh got injured. After that, we were very mediocre. And then we got a guy like Jimmy Butler who made us a championship contender and brought us to the finals in the first year. So the Pacers are going to have to pick a direction as well. And I think trading Turner and the 5th guy, who is Malcolm Brogdon, who I think would be an amazing fit on the Heat, and I'll get to him later, would be a very smart thing for them to do, because they have to. I don't think this team at full strength is, a championship contender whatsoever. I don't see what the value is in being a playoff team who's just going to be a playoff team. Like, why just be a 7-8 seed? And they were not even that. They were in the play-in this year. If you're not going to, make noise, and if you're not going to get a high pick. So they have to pick a direction as well, which is why Malcolm Brogdon, I think, would be a very good trade piece as well, along with Miles Turner to the Heat. Brogdon is a guy who's a very elite defender for his position. He's a guy that can put the ball in his basket. He's a Rookie of the Year winner. He is a very underrated player in this league, I think. He was in all-star discussions at the start of the season. Kind of fell off, I think. I think he might have got injured as well. So, yeah, Brogdon, I think, is a very underrated piece, man. I think he could be a very great point guard for us because he can defend. He's a good playmaker. He can definitely put the ball in the basket from all 3 levels. he'd be a great fit for the team. So Brogdon is my number 5, and that would probably wrap up the trade targets, the realistic trade targets for the Heat. I had Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum at number 1. I had Bradley Beal at number 2. I had Kristaps Porzingis at number 3. I had Miles Turner at number 4, and I had Malcolm Brogdon at number 5. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, man. There were some other names like Zach LaVine, but I don't think the Bulls would ever trade Zach LaVine away when they just traded for Vucevic. But he was kind of like my honorable mention for us to trade for. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, man. I'll see y'all later as always. Make sure y'all leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. The videos are gonna be keep coming. My grammar is terrible today. But yeah, I'll see y'all later. Make sure y'all leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Peace.